This PT6 from Portkeys is probably the most full-featured 5-inch monitor you can get for $169. Technically speaking, it's 5.2 inches, but what's special about this is it can function as a 1080p LUT box. Hence the reason Portkeys is marketing this as a live streaming monitor, because it can output some image alterations downstream. In terms of usage intuitiveness though, this is one of the more frustrating UIs, but we'll get to that in just a bit. Surprisingly, this is very well built for a monitor that costs less than $200. On its own, it only weighs in at around 170 grams, so not a lot of added weight to your rig. In addition to DC power, you've got two powering options when it comes to batteries. You can use Sony NP batteries as well as Canon LPE6 batteries. The 5.2-inch display is a 600 nit capacitive touchscreen, plenty bright for anything indoors. It is one of the more fingerprint-resistant touchscreens I've used, so very pleased with that. And when it comes to assistance features for monitoring, you're getting your absolute money's worth for $169. In addition to everything you see here, there's also anamorphic D-squeeze, which is hidden away in another menu for some reason, but you're getting all sorts of guide frames, luma and RGB waveforms, peaking, zebras. But what particularly impressed me was the false color. You actually get to choose from two styles of false color. There's the typical one and the RE style of false color, which only highlights certain luma ranges while leaving the rest of your image unaltered. You can modify the thresholds for the false color ranges, which generally is not an ability you would find in this price range. Tapping the touchscreen toggles you between a full screen view and a sort of heads-up display view where you can select your overlays. This selection view is customizable. You get to arrange your own order of functions on the PT6, but the menu system is a bit tricky to navigate. It's not the most fluid UI, nothing's animated, everything just kind of flashes about. There is also like a 10-second startup delay when you power it on, which is alright by me, but during this process, not even the screen's backlight comes on. There's no indication of power state otherwise, so the first time I flicked the PT6 on, I thought my battery was dead. But once it does eventually come on, you've got a beautiful 600 nit P3 display to look at. I did mention that the PT6 can function as a 1080p LUT box. That's why it's got two HDMI ports, an input on the bottom left and an output on the top right. It's got a USB-A port for loading in your LUT files, and it would appear you can store quite a large number of LUTs on device. Now, aside from being able to output your image with a LUT applied, the PT6 also has a few other image processing features which can also be sent via the HDMI loop out. You can manually zoom the image to show only a select portion of your image. You can output the de-squeezed anamorphic image out the HDMI port, and it's got a feature that stretches your image out below a defined height when shooting vertically. Now, I personally haven't really got any use cases for this, but apparently it was designed as a live streaming feature to make your subject's legs appear longer than they really are. But these features will be central to using the PT6 as a LUT box, where you apply the image processing, then send them to another device in real time. By default, however, the PT6 will output the UI through the loop out signal, including the battery indicator for some reason. To get a clean output, the key is to activate the lock switch, which deactivates the touchscreen as well as clear any overlays. Really, for $169, there isn't much more to ask for in a monitor like this. It's an incredible amount of value, and quite frankly, I'm surprised it did not cost more. I'll put links below for anyone interested, and if you enjoyed this video, maybe I'll see you in another one.